uh, this is what I haven't read the story that you presented, but I'm gonna show you guys something that we reported on quite a while ago. This is why we got to continue to put the pressure. Remember when I had that cop would knock on the door and I stared at this motherfucker like, I know you're not here to help me. You're not my friend. Like these things, like these small things matter. We need to create a culture where the police are ashamed to put that fucking badge on. And we can't make them defund through legislation, make them defund themselves out of shame. They should be shamed at the work that they do. They are union busters. They work on behalf of the capitalist class. If they're a strike and the ruling class want them to bust that strike up, they're not going to ask any questions. They're going to do it. They are bootlickers, and they should be embarrassed because they are the arm of the class war that is being waged on the workers. So when, just for example, and I'll pass back to you, CJ, when you had indigenous protesters protesting Line 3, which our capitalist judiciary illegally stole land from indigenous people so corporations can build on it. Guess who was there to bust up the protest? The police. The police will always side against worker interests and the interests of black and brown people, especially. They're there to serve racial hierarchy and protect capital. So if we can't defund them legislatively, we need to create a culture where motherfuckers, where if you're a kid, like we want to be when we grow, we want to be a police officer. Hey, someone check on Timmy. What the fuck's going on with this? Like, it needs to be some shit where it's demonetized until we get like because it's anyway. Go ahead, CJ. I'm ranting at this point.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. So, and this is to your point though about why. So when you say why police unions not part of the working class, because they are siding against the workers. So the police have a choice, and the point that Nick was making in the strike. In a strike, let's say you show up in a strike and it's civil rights, and one is on one side is trying to suppress or oppress. The police is defending the oppressor. The police, so because the law, this is what it means. The police have a choice of do what's right. What's right is to jump in and defend the striking people, or the police has the choice to follow the law.
Yep.
You see why the chain of command is so enforced. Follow the law. They don't want you making human choices out there.
And anyone who does is fired. Go ahead, CJ. I just want to add, anyone who does is not making it. That's why we say ACAB. All cops are bastards. If you're collecting a pension, what the fuck have you done in your last few decades of your life? Imagine all the workers you squashed. Imagine all the people you evicted. Like if you're actually pro-worker and you're not a traitor to the community, imagine if you got the order to forcibly evict a single mom with 2 kids. I use this example all the time because this happens. Because if you refuse to leave, the police will show up. If you don't reject that order out of moral objection, you are a bad cop. If you're willing to kick out a single mom and their kids in the middle of the winter, and I'm using this, obviously I'm pulling at your heartstrings for a reason to make a point. If you're not willing to say no, you cannot objectively say you're a good cop. You guys see that? You guys see the point there? Unless you get fired, I'll give you a 1-year amnesty period. You got 1 year to get fucking fired or demoted before you can say you're a good guy.
I love that you bring this up, Nick, because can you think about how a majority of a neighborhood can be harassed by one police department?
Yeah.
You know, from the streets to your home, you know, walking around. The recruitment is down because we are shining the light on what these people actually do, and we are giving these victims a voice. And giving them some type of backup and say that we hear you and we feel the same way, you know, and this is what we should do. You know, a lot of people don't like the police, et cetera, but they don't know what we would do without them. And we're giving them, you know, another way to fight with defund the police. But it's crazy because they're not going to get higher numbers with all of these people being victims of these police departments. And people see that they do nothing but get off. You shoot me, you shoot my dog, you beat me. You know, I can't file a complaint because y'all gonna harass me, et cetera, et cetera. People have family members. That shit has a domino effect in the neighborhood, especially if it's small. You know, so it's gonna have a domino effect, not the one that they thought will have. And especially right now, they're trying to recruit over 100,000 new pigs. Everybody knows it's just to protect the property in the days coming, because we will be going through a lot of turmoil, with these days to come with
And
America.
they are loosening the restriction. What do you guys think that means? You're gonna have more unhinged cops, more because it's harder for them to recruit. And I'll pass to you, CJ, because after your story, I'm gonna show you guys something I reported on quite a long time ago. I pulled out an old bookmark from last year where they was talking about how in Philadelphia a lot of the cops would defund themselves, and they was asking what the reason is. It's not because of pay; they get paid well, not because of time off. Literally, one of the people was quoted saying, "Well, I remember back in the day, we used to have an aura of respect." Now people look at us like we're an occupier. It's like, yes, that's the point. So a lot of people are literally quitting because they don't remember. Like people,
I'm not getting praised.
Propagandized for decades. Cops go to a donut store, yeah, give them a free donut, give them a free coffee. You just like having that badge. People, thank you for your service. That shit is done, and the cops are starting to retire because they feel the shift, and we need to keep it up. But anyway, I'll wait to share that afterwards.
Yeah, no, perfect, because you're about to love this. Then, if that's what you love, you're about to love this because that's what essentially this is what about. So I have 6 videos. Let's start with the 3 short ones. Yeah, the 3 short ones are like 2 minutes each, just to set the scene of how this is happening. Is being reported in every state that there's a shortage. Each video is like 2 minutes, so 3 videos, and then we'll chime in a little bit.
Yesterday, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler talked about the challenge of getting retiring police to stick around longer and help out while the Bureau hires more officers. It reminded me of a frank conversation I had with City Commissioner Mingus Mapps last week. We talked about staff shortages at the Police Bureau and what's really behind it.
Well, I do think we have some options. One of the things I'm deeply concerned about are vacancies that we currently have in the Police Bureau. We've set aside in previous budgets lines to hire cops and, frankly, unarmed police officers. We have plenty of vacancies there. We just need to do the hard work of recruiting folks to, fill out our Police Bureau and to, I think, fill out our unarmed police officers.
And why hasn't it happened already?
That's a really good question. I think part of it is it's hard to recruit police officers to work in Portland right now. As we all know, it's been an incredibly challenging couple of years for folks who wear a badge. It is also the case that police officers throughout the nation are in high demand. We have neighboring jurisdictions which are paying bonuses up to $25,000.
Hold on. Can we pause this? Because he know that these communities felt the effect. How can you pull people out of the community to go and harass their same community for the police department that had been harassing their community? That's not happening. You guys beat my mother with a billy club. She was walking home from the goddamn grocery store. She didn't have much. You took my dad to jail for nothing. Looking to violate him because you knew that he was on parole. I ain't saying he was a good man, but he was the best man I had. You took everything I had, and you want me to be one of you? How do you think that we are raising our children when we come home beaten? Imagine we are fathers. Me and CJ, we are fathers, man. And real shit, our daughters might be, freedom fighters. Imagine us still living through this shit that we living through today, and your daughter come back home with a busted face, head busted, bruised, shot with rubber bullets, gassed by the police in her neighborhood. Like, he know it's having a domino effect. It's having a domino effect.
All these reports, Rome.
You can't pull the people because we seen that you guys kneel and choke out George Floyd. We seen that you guys gave the cop more time for shooting the wall than you gave the other cop more time than shooting Breonna Taylor. We see this.
And Rome, that you're gonna see this in a lot of these videos. It's like they're talking around the problem. They're making it seem like it's just a perception issue. That's what they're trying to make it seem like. We're just in a topsy-turvy world right now. It's just perception. This whole perception of the police. Nobody is saying, well, maybe it has something to do with all these killings. We keep killing people. Like, that could be a reason.
And that's how all these stories are presented, like they're the victim. Like, oh, boo, public is opinion against us because the public is bullying us. Like, consequences, the consequences of y'all actions. But go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, let's let this one finish out. Got a couple of other 2-minute videos here.
Police bureau, and we're losing talent to other cities.
And I can just hear critics in my ear saying, "Well, Portland City Council has helped demonize Portland police."
And I would say
who was he hearing in his ear? Who was exactly speaking in your ear, sir? I didn't see anybody next to you speaking in your ear. So he is stepping in to speak for the ruling class, to speak for the oligarch. That's what he's doing. That he's saying, I can hear my boss saying, why didn't I ask this question? Why didn't I insert this? Exactly. He know what's to do. These people, but let's listen, and let's listen to what he interjects again right here. So let me put it right about here.
And I can just hear critics in my ear saying, "Well, Portland City Council has helped demonize Portland police."
And I would say the police bureau agrees with you. I think recently,
like the police is out here doing good shit, and people are just demonizing them from the good shit. That's what's happening.
Not the fact that you guys get half of our fucking city's budget. Not the fact that you guys are riding around in brand new trucks while we riding in putt-putts that you pulling us over for. Because my tail light is on. Get the fuck out of here.
The poor cops, they were just misunderstood. Oh, poor cops. Why can't the people give them a fair trial?
Survey.
These people fighting in some cities. They fight for these people to have a $10,000 salary a month.
The nature of their work. We saw that our public safety officers are demoralized, and one of the reasons why they're demoralized is they feel like they haven't been supported by elected leadership in this town.
Do you think that's accurate? Because you're part of the elected leadership.
I try to both hold the police bureau accountable, and I try to support public servants in the work they do, whether you're the police bureau or the parks bureau. That's a culture change I'm trying to bring to the city.
Yeah, that was really weird. It wasn't letting
answer
me
the question.
Stop it said, or anything. That was really weird.
I want to comment on that real quick with what just happened, that little exchange right there. He said,
yeah, go ahead.
The police say that the politicians don't give them support, which is objectively not true. How is that true?
Just a lie. That's just a lie.
Police than other countries do on the military budget. Do you guys understand that? So what other country? What is your example of the counter? So if our politicians are weak on the police, what is your example of a country that is more pro-police than the United States? There is none. We have the most pro-police politician in the world, period. So these guys say, well, is it true that politicians are leaving the police out to hang, even though that's objectively not true? Look at Eric Adams, for example. He said, oh no, man, it's up there in the air.
Even Trump and Biden was fighting over who's going to fund them the most. They talking about, man, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, they was like, no, I'm giving them more money. No, I'm giving them more money. I remember that. All right, so I don't know what happened. It went haywire. So I'm gonna start it back. It's still about 30 seconds to play, because this exchange at the end, like you were saying, Nick, is very important. Or what he says here towards the end. Oh, turn the volume on. My bad.
Feel like they haven't been supported by elected leadership in this town.
Do you think that's accurate?
Hang on. There's more of it I want him to say.
The Bureau agrees with you.
From any rational person, just real quick, any rational person, is that accurate? No. The police are lying. What is your... Look at this guy, he can't say that?
I think recently we had a survey of police officers which asked their attitudes about the nature of the...
Okay, sorry. I'm not sure why this keeps happening here. I think I got it now. All right, I think I got it now.
Work. We saw that our public safety officers are demoralized, and one of the reasons why they're demoralized is they feel like they haven't been supported by elected leadership in this town.
Do you think that's accurate?
No.
Because you're part of the elected leadership.
I try to both hold the police bureau accountable, and I try to support public servants in the work they do, whether you're the police bureau or the parks bureau. That's a culture change I'm trying to bring to the city. And I do think the culture and the dialogue has changed in the past year or so, but there's still a lot of trust that needs to be rebuilt.
The culture and the dialogue
Thanks for Biggest Map sharing.
Let me finish his thought. See, he's not finishing his thought. The culture and the dialogue changed. How, sir? So essentially, these police officers like, oh my God, the politicians keep saying we should stop murdering people. Is that what you guys complain about? The fact that you
That's
guys
what they mean by not support. Maybe that's what he
Yeah.
means by not supporting them.
Well, these politicians literally support you guys in bills.
LAPD
The only thing you can possibly complain about is the fact that they acknowledge that you guys kill people sometimes. So are you mad that when a politician, even though they fund you, just mention the fact that, hey, George Floyd was killed by a renegade cop? That cops kill 3 people per day? That you guys are psychotic animals? Like they don't even say that. It's not just me. But go ahead, Ron.
No, I just wanted to yell out 40%.
All right, so this one and one more 2-minute clip. This is another city. So that was Portland. This is LAPD, and then I think I have another one that's Las Vegas. But I have a bunch. I can't show all of them. Like I have Ohio, I have New York, I have your neck of the woods. I think one of the longer interviews, Nick, is from the KC. KC
Yeah, I saw a lot
had a news conference. So yeah, so I'm gonna get to that one too. But this is the second of the first 3. Let's listen to this one.
The LAPD is facing a crisis. They say the number of criminals is on the rise.
At the same time, the number of cops is going down. Fox 11's Haley Winslow talked with LA's top cop at today's graduation of new recruits. It's a story you'll see only on Fox 11.
Many kids dream of growing up and being one of them. A police officer, a hero.
I can remember being a kid and watching my dad leaving for work in his uniform on his police motorcycle, and my earliest memories, I've always wanted to be an LAPD officer.
Officer Anthony Salazar.
But lately, fewer are choosing the badge. LAPD is losing more officers than the department can recruit.
In the last 3 years, this organization has lost more than 600 of its personnel to retirements that were not, that were not hired. We didn't hire new academy recruits to replace them. Today, we're losing more than 50 per month to retirements, and we need to hire 60 in order to meet that attrition and begin to rebuild. And we're simply not making that mark.
In a one-on-one with LA's top cop, Chief Michael Moore explains why.
We also have a heightened attrition because I think of COVID, the pandemic, the toll it's taken on people's lives, the emotional toll that as well as the civil unrest and the anti-police rhetoric, those have all been compounding factors.
And the city is
It's not going
to. Oh no, they're mean to us. Oh no.
And a disease is not going to stop a motherfucker a disease is not going to stop a motherfucker from getting out there and beating your motherfucking ass. We didn't see people are still getting killed by the police today. What is he talking about?
So can we appreciate the grand irony of the right wingers who idolize the police because they're the macho brave men, and then they're like, oh my God, the left are pussies, the left are sensitive pussies. Meanwhile, you got the cops over here like, oh my God, people are mean to me. They're mean to me. Oh my God, the people are mean. I gotta retire. I don't want to get deal with pressure. Meanwhile, they think we're soft. They think we're pussy. They think we're pussy. Who sound like the pussy? It's these cops, the right wingers. Oh my God! I used to go to these donut shops. They used to cheer for me. Now people are they mean mug me. They're so oh my God! And I worship like I'm used to be. Oh, look at these fucking soft. Look at these soft psychopaths. Anyway, go CJ.
No, but think about the psychology of that. I don't want that job that pays the same money, has the same duties, because people don't kiss our ass. That's why people aren't going. That's why people aren't. I'm sorry. That's why recruitment is down. But let's finish out this video about another minute and a half here.
Chief Moore says emergency response times are now longer, and specialized units like fugitive warrants and cold cases downsized or eliminated.
Service levels are suffering. Our 911 answer rate, the length of time people are having to wait on hold on non-emergency calls, and sometimes
how come all of this shit is down but shootings aren't down? What's up with that? How come everything else goes down but shootings and your payroll? That's weird.
These calls are below what service standards that we want and need to achieve.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, gentlemen.
So LAPD does recruitment events at the police academy now monthly. This is graduation for class 322. 27 new police officers, half of what LAPD had hoped for. Leading the class, Officer Casey Shelby.
So if you didn't hear, 27, that's half of what the target was.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, cop or no cop, crime is going to be the same because of poverty. Like these people don't stop anything. You know, life is going to go on with or without their job. So we really don't need them. And no way, we really don't need these people. We need to really fight poverty in order to stop all this shit that's going on right now and get a lot of people mental evaluations, you know. Half of these cops.
And just like in your debate, Nick, with that guy, the cop, is like they're never concerned with why. Like if you're so concerned with safety, how is your question? Why is this happening so we can stop it? How is that not your first question? Go ahead.
That's why I said we had to defeat them, because they literally said, when I brought up, like, yo, you got to address, if the debate is about crime, we got to talk about the root cause of crime, which is poverty. And the guy I'm debating literally said, I don't even care about the root cause of crime. If we just lock them up, we got to put them all in prison. I'm like, and that's why I brought up, like, how can you say that China, and they were super anti-China, like, how can you say China or any other country is insane authoritarian if your response is not to help people, but to put as many people in prison as possible so you can feel safe? That's literally what he said. Like, how can you even debate that? Like, that's just a crazy person. I don't care if their poverty is high. Then people are not going to turn to the ladder. It don't really matter. Just put as many people in cages as possible, and that will decrease crime. And the thing is, he was not even necessarily wrong. That's why I can't debate it, because he said if you just put a lot of people in prison, you would decrease crime, which is true. If you run a prison state and put everyone in fucking prison, crime will go down technically. And that is what he was advocating for. And what I'm saying is, do you want a functioning society where people are living happily, or do you want a society where people are just locked up in cages in order to protect an individualized class? And so that's the ideology that these people have. And it's so insane. That's why I say no one is the bigger fascist. No one is the bigger authoritarian than these capitalists and authoritarians. And I bring up the fact, like, yo, we in prison 1/4 of the world's prison population, way more than China. And they're like, oh, well, just culture. Like, what? That doesn't, like, so you talking about niggas that in the suburbs are not gang banging, bro? Like, like you can't talk through them. We gotta build a coalition to defeat these people, because at the end of the day, they are fascists, they are authoritarian, and they don't care about solving the issues. They just want to lock people in prison. And pretty much
it's almost like they don't want it to solve because they want a new crop of criminals in their eyes all the time. They want this new crop. It's like part of the machine. It's part of the machine to keep putting these people through it. Plus, getting this free labor through slavery.
Make him feel like the slave catcher that he always wanted to be.
That's what they want. That's really what it is. All right, let's finish this video another minute, and then I got another short video, and then just some questions for both of you. And then I'm going to play this news conference. It's going to blow your mind.
He used to be a cop in Indiana.
LAPD is the leader. Whatever LAPD does, the rest of the country does 5 years later. So this is the best of the best. This is where I wanted to be.
Remain true to your character.
Let me ask you this. What the fuck does a person from Indiana have any business being a police officer in Los Angeles? What does he know about the people in Los Angeles?
See, this is what...
That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous to me. Go ahead.
I've been warning you guys about this because Detroit is flooded with cops from Ohio. And when these people don't have a connection, when they haven't grown up with your people, they just do the worst because they don't actually give a fuck. They don't have to live here. They will not be held accountable if we catch him at the gas station, out of his uniform, et cetera, et cetera. He don't have to, deal with any consequences. He go back to Ohio, and everything is everything. And this is what they have brung. And it's going to be a lot of people that they are going to be moving around because they want people detached from that community as possible because they want you guys fucked up and stay in line. It's going to be hard times coming in the future. And the police is going to be the first in line to fight the proletarian, to make sure that they skill the proletarian to stay in line. If we get through the police, then we make it to the National Guard, et cetera, et cetera. But they have to make sure that their pawns are in place before the proletarian makes a move on the chessboard.
Do you think that's why they're screaming about is a shortage? Because they like, look, man, we need to build up this army and we're not getting enough people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They know it's about to be riots. They looking at all these other countries that already woken up, and it's really
And the
feeling
petrol dollar, our living standards about to drop because the petrol dollar.
really
So
are feeling the
they
effects.
know that this shit is about to be popping. So let's
a lot of these people firing people. They're getting ready, man. They're getting ready.
Yeah, the layoffs. Bill Gates out here saying, let's finish this one. Let's go.
Joining an understaffed department in the nation's second largest city amidst rising crime and many other challenges, a couple dozen new officers sworn in and ready to serve to the best of their abilities.
It's not easy, but that's why I joined. You're contributing something that outlives you, and not every profession can say that they do that.
There is something to be said for going home every day knowing that you made a difference, even if it's on the hard days, and there are many of them. You know that you made life better for somebody.
Like as he's saying that, there's, you know how many people was listening to that saying, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, and that's the thing, that's the shift. That's the shift that has happened. Now let's look at one more before I ask you guys a couple questions here. This one, let's see, what city is it? This is Chicago. And of the videos that popped up the most, Chicago was probably the number one where I got the most content that popped up about this issue.
The LAPD is facing a crisis. They say the number of criminals is on the rise.
At the same time, the number of cops is going down.
I hit the button too far back. I gotta go back.
First they say there ain't no police. Now they're saying criminals are on the streets.
Criminals is on the rise.
At the same time.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm sorry. I hit the LAPD again instead of hitting the Illinois. So here is the Illinois video. They call theirs troopers. So here we go.
Which is why the head of the Illinois State Police is offering hiring incentives now, hoping to add hundreds to the ranks. CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov spoke with Director Brendan Kelly about some of the challenges his department is facing.
Forward, march! We are pushing hard. We are trying to compete very aggressively.
You could call it a recruitment blitz by the Illinois State Police. Videos and social media ads are now part of a campaign to recruit and train 300 new troopers in the next couple of years.
It's always a matter of give and take. We always have new people coming in and people that are retiring, so there's a constant need.
Director Kelly says the goal is to get back to having more than 2,000 troopers in the department, up from the 1,700 or so ISP has right now. Kelly says numbers are higher than they were in 2017 after former Governor Bruce Rauner's budget stalemate triggered a hiring freeze. The pandemic also slowed hiring, but there are other challenges, including an anti-police sentiment held by many since the murder of George Floyd. How has that had an
I'll just add it in one context as well. Then, at this point, the Democrats and Joe Biden funneled COVID relief money to the police. So I want liberals to connect those dots. We live in a police state because of the Democratic Party. So they mentioned here, you have cities and towns that start running low on funds. So then, instead of actually providing for the people, they took the little relief money they got passed, and they're like, "Oh shit, just give it to the cops. Fucking let the people starve." This is austerity politics plus a police state combined. There need to be a term for it. It's insanity what we do in this country. But go ahead, let's continue the video.
Because you can see the disaster ahead. Like that has no good ending to the scenario you just described, but we can finish out this video about a minute left.
Had an impact on your ranks and also your recruiting efforts, do you think?
Well, obviously it has an impact.
It's a reason ISP is offering new recruiting incentives like lowering the retirement age from 60 to 50 and allowing recruits to finish training and work close to home. After the tragic suicides of 2 troopers recently, Kelly says the department is also improving its mental health outreach.
We're getting better as an institution at discussing the importance of taking care of your equipment. And the most important piece of equipment that you got is your recruitment.
He says investigative tools like license plate reader cameras are helping troopers do their job. Kelly says they just added another 3 dozen to the 100 already along expressways.
Anytime there's a shooting now, we are using the license plate readers as part of the investigation. It is not, occasionally It is every time.
Dana Kozlov.
That part, I played that video for that part. So they're adding these cameras, these license plate readers. If you guys didn't know, I'll bring up the other video in just a second. I got some questions for y'all, but if y'all didn't know, they're in some cities are doing this, where they're inserting more of these cameras that can license plate read.
We got them all over the place here.
Yeah, it's just such an invasion of privacy. They can just run your plates, and they're doing this shit all the time. If a cop is behind you, believe me, he's running your fucking plates. If he's behind, whether
remember that video with that unhinged.
Go ahead.
Remember that video with that unhinged cop? What she said? If I find a reason to pull you over, I will.
Yeah.
Like if you piss me off, I'll find a reason. That's how they criminalize communities.
It was somebody who pushed for some shit called the Patriot Act. Who was that guy to push for the Patriot Act? I'll keep on forgetting.
There were a lot of them.
My question to you is: do you think, because somebody earlier in the comments said something to the effect of this is psyop, that they're pretending like they're having a hard time, like there's another way to view these stories, like, do you think, and if so, what would be the reason? What would be the reason why they would be trying to pretend like they need this? Go ahead.
Increase police budgets even though they don't need it. That goes to mind. That 100. It's the same concept when they bitch about crime. Like, we can do either way. We can dismantle their talking points, but it literally does not matter whether crime is up or down. Like, oh shit, I gotta show you guys this tweet. I don't know if I covered it. We had this police department after the midterm is over. They're like, all right, now the midterms are over. Now we can admit that crime is actually down in this area. It was not up like we said it was. They lie all the time in order to perceive funding. It doesn't matter what the numbers say. But go ahead, Rome.
But for the people that have been here from the beginning, even if you watch the first video that CJ showed, the interviewer, he didn't even discuss how much crime was actually solved. And is that a problem? You know what I'm saying? He didn't discuss, the people that's actually being targeted and being victims of these communities that they say that they police. So this is all propaganda. I can see that, we need help. We got billions and billions of dollars and damn near every politician in our pocket, but we need help. Get the fuck out of here.
Maybe the framing is that
more money with less cops on the fucking line is more money for the people at the top. They ain't worried about more cops on a job, because none of these people do their fucking job anyway.
So they're trying to set up the game to get more funding, because a lot of the stuff was that we need to raise the amount because we can't get enough, because it's not enough. We don't have enough pay. We don't have enough money to pay. We need more money. So everybody in these stories were asking for more money so that they can compete with other locations. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm glad, because I think I forgot to do a segment on this. I think I did. Maybe I might just be high or something, but I think I forgot to do this because I wanted to show you guys this. Like, this was 2 weeks ago, November 9th. Now this the 80 APD. Which one is that? Some
Atlanta.
Chief of police. Albuquerque. Yeah,
Albuquerque. Okay.
So they literally tweet this out. They literally just admitted. They say, now that campaign season is over, I want to clear up the claims about Albuquerque's crime stats. Over 5 years, overall property and violent crime are down thanks to officers, detectives, and professionals across the ABT. So literally during the election, they was siding with Republicans and helping Republicans paint this narrative that, oh my God, crime is out of control. They do this to secure funds, and this idiot does what they usually don't do, when they just admit they lied. So this guy tweets this out, and he get ratioed to oblivion, and you see people like, oh my God, he fucking admitted it. This guy literally, look, this is a tweet I liked at the time, saying you're doing this now that the campaign season is over implies y'all weren't giving accurate information pre-elections. So doesn't it change the whole narrative around the crime debate and how people perceive crime if you guys are being honest? What have we been saying about RBN? For one, how you define a crime. We can do either way. We can go down that rabbit hole. Or we can say, as we've been saying, and that's why I said during the debate, and they would look at me like I was crazy because I said the fact that the police lie all the time.
All the time.
Why are we even accepting the premise what they say? We should start at the baseline that they are lying and to proving hardcore otherwise. But go ahead, CJ.
It's so crazy that the people who want more funding are the people who we use as the sources for crime rates. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Does that make sense to you? Why wouldn't they just say crime is down to justify the money you just gave them, and then when they want another raise, they say crime is up? Why wouldn't they do that? Like, wouldn't they do that? Like, come on, go ahead.
CJ, you know what? When the feds come in town, right? When the feds come in town, that's when they really start to make up all types of shit. They pulling over everybody. The narcs in town. You ever had the narcs in your hood? They don't play. They get you for anything. And this is what me and Nick was talking about on one episode. Is how do you define a crime? Because they can just pull over thousands of people with no seatbelt and say crime is up. It's the crime to drive without a seatbelt. It's a crime to do jaywalking. It's a crime to right.
But it's not a crime to rob people of their savings through the housing crisis. That's not a crime. It's not a crime to rob people.
How do you define the crime?
100 million to Ukraine, 100 billion to Ukraine while people starve. Like why is that not a crime? Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah. And this is why they avoid saying violent crime or murder is up. Robbery, because it would be a lie. Because we can just go on Google and be like, no, it's about the same, if not a little less. Nothing really changed. What you talking? What is this all about? Think about it this way: Democrats need something to run on. Police need something to run on. This is all campaign strategy for money.
This right here, you talking about a coon cop. So, Nick, when you said earlier how they were cry babies about
guys,
police,
I'll be right back.
Remember, guys, black cops are the worst. They got something to prove.
Yes, I was just getting to that.
I said it so many times. Black cops have a chip on their shoulder because they got proved to the white supremacist teammates that they're not soft on the blacks. So that's why they tend to be the worst. But anyway, go ahead, CJ. So that doesn't surprise me.
Look how he pleads here. Listen to this.
I have police leave. They're leaving because they feel like they're not appreciated. It's time to stop all this nonsense and realize that you've got a different community here and start appreciating what your police do for you.
What?
He damn near crying.
Hold on.
I got to. I was just doing.
Holy shit.
He damn near crying. If you don't hear his voice shakes in the beginning.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I have police leave.
Oh my God.
They're leaving because they feel like they're not appreciated. It's time to stop all this nonsense and realize that you've got a different community here and start appreciating what your police do for you.
That was Lexington Police Chief Lawrence Weathers.
So
exactly.
Furious. This is the Malcolm. I'm gonna find this shit. Hold on. I'm gonna find this shit. Because this shit was going everywhere. This is literally the field Negro. I'm about to pull up. This is literally the field Negro. This man is remember what Malcolm X said. The field Negro cares more than the master does. He cares more than the master does.
Yeah, he like we sick, master. When the master sick,
You know what
like,
I'm talking about?
we sick, master.
I gotta find that
Rome
video.
gotta see the face. Rome, I'm gonna play this again. You gotta see this guy's
That's
face.
so crazy.
Oh my God, this guy is ridiculous. He damn near crying. He literally is about to cry.
I have police leave. They're leaving because they feel like they're not appreciated. It's time to stop all this nonsense and realize that you've got a different community here and start appreciating what your police do for you.
That was Lexington Police.
Hold on. Hold on, Keisha Cole. I know you feel unappreciated right now, but I got a good reason.
Oh my God.
You want to know what you remind me of? I'm sorry, this is funny. This is super funny. So I'm gonna show you guys this video. This is what it remind me of.
Oh God, that's hilarious.
Oh, you're free.
Love white folks. White folks have been good to niggers. February, Black History Month. Come on now. I know they giving everybody.
Is sound working?
But we gonna get off.
Yeah, no, I can hear it. That's Godfrey.
Right, we get jobs. My girlfriend white. Lord have mercy. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Woo. We get a little soft shoe for all the good that America done for the Negro. Show you. White folks ain't that bad.
what that video remind me of. That's the first thing I thought of. I'm sorry.
That's him. He almost sound like him too.
Yeah, he looked like him too almost.
White people looking like, why y'all laughing at this? This shit is hilarious to us. This is some hilarious ass.
These people,
these coons
really
groveling like this. Go ahead, Roman.
I'm just saying, like, they really sold our people out, and this is why, like, we really got to watch who we put around each other and whatnot, who we around, because man, it's people like this all around. They sell out their community, and he mad that people don't appreciate him for that. I don't look at a man when I see a black man in a cop uniform.
Not at
Like,
all.
I see a fucking sellout. I see somebody that was too weak to stand on his own ideologies. That's what the fuck I see. I don't see nothing but a robot that was trained to kill. That's all I see. So if you're not appreciated, if you don't feel appreciated,
think about that. Appreciate me,
bitch.
Appreciate me.
I wish I can find
let's play this.
I wish I can find the Malcolm X video, but it's a good scene though.
A strong leader will do more for his community and keep that community twice as safe as any police department. One leader will keep that community twice as safe and fed than any police. Go ahead, play the video, man. But fuck the police.
This is that cop in a nutshell, and I can't. I wish I just found this real quick. I wish I could find the Malcolm X one, but Denzel acted out pretty well here. Same message.
Next to his master in the big house, either in the basement or up in the attic. He dressed pretty good. He ate pretty good. What the master left him. He loved his master. I say he loved his master better than the master loved himself. If the master said, we got a nice house here, he said, yeah, boss, we got a nice house here. Master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would be the one who run to put the blaze out. If the master got sick, he said, what's the matter, boss? We sick? We sick. You see, this is the thinking of the house Negro. Now, if another slave came up to him and said, let's run away, let's separate, let's get away from this cruel master, he said, why? What's better than what we got here? Run away. I'm not going anywhere. This is the house Negro. In those days, we called him the house nigger. And that's what we call him today because we still got a...
So once again, that's Denzel acting it out, but the same content. But
yeah, that's the exact
literally
same,
on
exact
point.
Same words, yeah.
Yeah, that's literally play the video of the cop again. That's literally what the cop did. He cared more about the master house than the master does. This man is literally emotional. He might be a good actor. There's a good chance that's why I thought about this.
Yeah, maybe throwing it in for master, maybe throwing it in, but still, still. All right, so I'm gonna let it play a little bit because it is more to the story. It is more to the story. It's more to the story here, but let's listen.
I have police leave. They're leaving because they feel like they're not appreciated. It's time to stop all this nonsense and realize that you've got a different community here and start appreciating what your police do for you.
That was Lexington Police Chief Lawrence Weathers exactly 10 days ago.
Police departments across the country have been struggling to keep their numbers up as record numbers of cops are seeking early retirement or simply leaving the force.
Lexington has lost 240 officers because of it since 2020. Since Chief Weathers talked a lot about appreciation, we wanted to find out how this community feels about the police.
In-depth reporter Christiana Ford joins us now with the results of her anonymous survey.
Now, if you think this is not a puff piece, I don't even need to go. If you think they came over here to tell you some real shit about what's like the real shit, they didn't, so I don't even need to play that. But now, Nick, let's get to this. Nick and Rome, let's get to this. Go ahead, Rome. You can talk.
No, I just want to fucking mirror Nick. Why aren't you guys feeling appreciated? What happened? Was it like a civil rights movement or something going on? I don't know. What happened? I was asleep for the last 2-3 years. Remind me why the people are being woken up about what the police actually does and how much money goes to these people that don't need to be. They're basically washing our tax dollars through these corrupt motherfuckers. Come in your neighborhood and beat your daddy up, take them away, beat on your mom, take your kids.
I always see people saying it, make it happen, be the change you want to see. That video clip, I'm sorry, CJ, I kind of hijacked it because that shit was so funny. That shit definitely should be a meme. That shit should be that cop cry. That's so funny. But anyway, go ahead.
Man, that was hilarious.
Guys see A1 comment. I don't know if you see it. They was like, that shit should be a meme, CJ. That fucking cop is so outrageous. But anyway, go ahead.
Just that 10 seconds, whatever, 3 seconds. But this is the final video. This one is where they kind of go in depth. And I know we're going to be stopping this a lot. We're not going to watch the whole thing because it's too long. But in the first 5 minutes, they say a bunch of shit. It's just ridiculous. And notice the framing is never what they did to get the backlash. It's just somehow people are just upset. So let's listen. The title of this is Police Chief. This is the police chief of this city. And they're talking about the scrutiny and the conflict and how it's making it basically defund the police is making it tough. Let me see if it shows the name. I don't. Oh yeah, this is yours, Nick. This is yours. This is Kansas City Police Chief Richard.
Hey guys, we turned up. That's why they talking shit, bro. We was at the park and they tear gassed us because I told you we a city full of shit talkers, and there was people that was telling the cops exactly how we feel. I still remember there was this, for example, there was like this Latina, and there was like this group that we did protesters, the young Latina protester. They were in her face like, "You're a fucking sellout, piece of shit. How can you sleep at night? You sold out our community. You fucking sellout, bitch." I was like, "Damn, some black motherfucker guys." So these cops are getting told to their face, especially in Kansas City, and that's how it was in George Floyd protest. I was reporting on my Substack and my old YouTube channel. And I'm glad that it's from KCPD because we had one of the worst, and our activist group we bring it to them. But anyway, let's continue with the video.
Listen to the framing of the questions, of course it's framed in a way, and then listen to his answers. Let's just listen.
So I know 2020 and 2021 were among the deadliest years in Kansas City when it comes to violent crime, just like in many other cities across the country. How do you explain that?
Well, I can't explain it. I'm sure some academic will look at this for years and look at it. But I think what is surprising is that it was consistent across the country. It wasn't just here in Kansas City. It was consistent.
CJ, is it all the way up?
Oh, my bad. Let me see. I didn't even check.
Yeah, I can hear it. It's just a little quiet, but I can hear it.
Yeah, it is. It is all the way up. It actually, I don't remember it being this low. So they must turn it up later because it does get louder. Let's see when it does, but it does later.
What is the phenomenon that made that happen? I don't know. Everyone wants to tie it back to COVID or other things like that. I don't know if it was demonstrations in the streets and people saw that and took, liberties with that about their actions. I don't know what happened. I will say in Kansas City, we are fortunate because 2020, we saw a historic homicide rate here. In 2021, we were one of the few cities that saw a reduction. So I do think it's possible to meet a downhill trend. I just think it's very difficult today.
And how's this year going?
Since he answered, let me say this real quick. Since he finished his answer, and this is why I'm nailing that actual social justice warrior dude during our crime debate. At what point does the onus go on you guys? Like, look how much money we are spending. This point can go over their head. We spend more on the NYPD police than the DPRK does on the military, 3 times more. At what point do we say you guys are failing at your job? Isn't your job to stop this? Isn't that what the prime mechanism you guys use to justify your budgets? So when he asked his question to him, when he said, "Why do you think there's a surge in crime rate?" You see how these cowards immediately deflect to 1,000 things. This guy literally said, I don't know if you guys caught it, because he said, well, after the George Floyd protest, maybe people felt more emboldened. What he meant was people felt more. You go back and you can go back and play it. What he meant is that people felt more emboldened to commit crimes. So what he's saying is that because we protested, people all of a sudden was like, "Oh shit, I'm about to commit crimes." Does that sound realistic?
That's also saying you're invalidating the reason why people are protesting. Like you're not even there's no existence of why it was the reason behind it. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's so many. That's a great point, CJ, because there's so many ways that's such a slimy answer. It changes the narrative what the protesters were trying to accomplish while shifting the blame on you guys failing. And this is the argument that was blowing their mind that people can't comprehend. I'm like, why am I debating? You gotta justify why your policies failed. Where did the debate start? We had neoliberal policing policies for decades. So if you're going to present the premise to me, because it's you, not me, I'm not out here pretending that crime is out of control, right? It's you guys that are presenting the argument that crime is out of control. Thus, why do you guys fail if you guys acknowledge that crime is high and that you're mandated to stop? You guys see what I'm talking about? They don't.
Yeah.
They're so.
It's your job to stop it. Then you're telling us it's up.
They're like,
isn't
oh my
that
God.
you telling us that you're failing at your job?
since people like to punch down, I'll pass it back to you, Sam. But people treat customer service workers worse than they treat politicians, right? And that's my viral tweet I put a long time ago. So I wish people would treat customer service workers the way they treat the ruling class the way they treat customer service workers. So if you ordered a meal and you order a steak and this motherfucker sending you a burger, and you're like, yo, what happened here? You're like, well, actually, the fucking cook, he made it. Shit, I don't know. Maybe you should have ordered the burger. Why are you mad at me? That's essentially what the cops do. Your job is to decrease crime. The server, they're fucked up, and you start blaming. That's what the cops do. Same fucking thing. The mailman delivered you the wrong mail. He's like, man, you should have delivered you should ask for something different. Why the fuck you mad at me? Because I'm not doing my job. Why you mad at me? You guys complaining, protesting. Now there's more pressure on me. Like, it's the same stupid mindset.
Yeah.
We're a little bit above than we were last year. We're not at a historical level yet, but we're above where we were last year.
Do you know why?
No.
Do you think it's COVID related?
No.
What's it like to be a police officer these days?
I think it's a struggle,
Break out your Kleenex, guys.
Oh
Break. This is gonna be emotional here. Okay, he's about to tell us what it's like to be police officer. Let me just rewind it 3 seconds here. Let's go.
It's funny because when we talk to the young officers, I mean, they all seem energetic and ready to go. We have an orientation that night with the parents before they come in, and you can see the difference between the energy of the young people who are coming in the department and the parents who are with their kids before they come in. I mean, it's a different total energy in the room. I think most young people are seeing this as an opportunity and career path, and some of the other people are saying, why would you want to be here in this day and age under this kind of scrutiny and the dynamics of policing in America in 2021 and 2022.
Oh, CJ, they hear us.
What is he talking about when he describes that? He's not explicitly saying it, but what do you think he's talking about, Nick and Rome, when he's the way he's describing it?
Why would you want to be a pig in today's age? And this is what
we're being called pigs to our faces instead of being called heroes. Go ahead.
This is such a great receipt, CJ. This guy literally just described what I did a whole breakdown on earlier. Remember I told you guys how cops, they used to being praised? Now people are being critical. Now that we have a critical analysis of the police and what they actually do, they serve capital. So now, remember, our job is to put public pressure. Now, new cops, we look at you like, why the fuck you want to be a cop? 20 years ago, your kids say you want to be a cop. Like, oh my God, the Honorable Jimmy want to protect the service community. That was how a lot of people felt. Not the black, that's how a lot of people felt though. But now that illusion is dead. Even if you are a Blue Lives Matter person, even you're not sipping the Kool-Aid that much, right? You know what they're doing. Everyone knows, and they know there's a shame that comes with that. Oh, you don't want to help people? You want to be a cop? You have all the career fields you can choose. You want to be the fucking enforcer of capitalism in this violent state. That's what you want to do. So, and I'll pass to you guys after this thought. Remember what he said. Young police officers, they come in enthusiastic. Then they lose their enthusiasm. Why? Because for one, a lot of people watch Rush Hour, they play Call of Duty, and they think that they're going to be doing something that's completely different than what they do. And then they realize, oh shit, I am literally just imposing regressive fines and fees on the working class 80% of my time. And people know it. Anyway, go ahead, CJ. This video is glorious. I love this. This is a glorious video.
Levels for someone to choose this profession as they come in.
I just rewind it because I know it's low. Go ahead, Rome, if you want to speak. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's funny how he gonna ask us, man, how does it feel to be, nigga? Let me tell you how I feel being a black man in front of a police officer with their lights on. Motherfucker, that shit is horrifying. This might be my last day. Sometimes I freeze. I can't even record. I'm like, God damn. Do I even got my license? Do I have a license? What's my name?
Yeah, bro, it's just terrifying, bro. I want to read this comment for you. This is a great comment for Chip, a base comment. A great part to analyze on this. He said people are also being critical of cannabis legalization. And this is a great point, showing these pigs knowingly locked up friends and neighbors for weed. Now, guys, that's a great point that I didn't emphasize earlier. People was less critical of the police because people bought into the drug war. But now that a lot of people know the drug war was a lie to promote big pharma and increase the prison industrial complex, now they're looking at the police like, bro, you willingly locked up non-violent stoners and you're not ashamed? So that's a great point. I'm piggybacking on this comment. That's a because now people think about all the people who I know people who've been institutionalized, been criminalized because they have weed, and now we know that's bullshit. So of course there's gonna be resentment against the people who enforce that, right? So that's a great point. I didn't even consider that, but that is a great point. Go ahead, CJ.
Absolutely. All right, so now I'll play the video.
And under the dynamics of policing in America in 2021 and 2022. So I think it is difficult on many levels for someone to choose this profession as they come in.
And you've been with Kansas City Police 34 years. Would you say this is the most difficult time?
Well, I look at it from a different perspective. I've been through highs and lows. I've been through Rodney King incidents. I've been through, other challenges, 9/11 and policing and what has happened and how it's evolved through my career here. So I see everything as hills and valleys, and we'll get through it, right? Just like I see it here. The most difficult time, I would say this is probably the time policing has drawn the most attention. Those other things had grilly things, but this seems to have a bigger effect on the hiring, retention, things like that, I would say is a proper frame of that.
Because you mentioned the highs and the lows, I think back to like 9/11, that was a time when people really were loving first responders, patriotic. Does this feel like a normal low?
Now the people ain't propagandized. The people ain't propagandized as they used to when we was at war. Even though we still at war to this day, the people ain't propagandized to lick our boots like they did when 9/11 happened. They are sick, man, and they don't like. I always like these people don't see us as humans. They can't see us as humans. There's no way.
Yeah.
They're using tragedies and shit like that, but it's funny how they never use tragedies like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all of these people that have died from the hands of the police that has caused uproar, not only here in America, but around the world.
So I want to address something that they said, and I want to actually say that they're true, but not for the wrong reason. You know how this guy say, oh, these cops, we're just patriotic. Because that's true to a degree, but not in the right way that's good. They are loyal to the state, and they're there to protect the state from the people. So they do have a sense of patriotism. This is why these people are problematic, and they can never really join worker class movement, because they see the flag, they see uniforms, they see our institutions, and they say, I am patriotic because I want to defend those at all costs, even when they no longer serve their mandate. Are we clear? When these institutions turn against the people to the point where people will protest them, we will side with the institutions. Thus, I'm a patriot. I stand with the flag. I am protecting the institutions, and I'm keeping the streets clean from the people that we steal the rights. We are violent towards them. They are protectors of this imperial capitalist system. So when he says he's patriotic, that is not any way in a good way, at all. But they just open about it because once again, CJ, they're not talking to us.
They're not.
We talk about this all the time, and this theme is consistent every time we play these videos. This conversation, they are not talking to us. They talking to the afraid white boomers. Like, yes, we are patriotic. We are protecting this institution from those radical socialists, from them radical workers, from them black and indigenous people that want to disrupt our money. That is what that is what they're saying. They be saying the open part out loud, but people don't realize they're not talking to us. But go ahead, CJ.
Or does it feel different?
It did feel different. Now I think things are getting better. When in 2020, in May of 2020, when things happened, I looked across the country and looked at how it was happening city after city, and looking at that based on the one incident in Minneapolis and how people were viewing policing across the country.
He's saying based on one incident, Nick, they're saving kittens from trees and walking grandmas across crosswalks. This is just one murder. This is just one public murder. What's the problem? How is this affecting recruiting everywhere? That's essentially what he's saying. One dead nigger. Who gives a fuck? Well, how is this? Why is everybody up in arms? It's a nigger. Come on.
And not to mention that, not to mention that, George Floyd was one of many people that died during that time by the hands of the police. That, I hate to say it, but he overshadowed a lot of deaths. But this is how the media treat certain lives when they try to make money off of it. You see it, they passed a George Floyd Act. They tried to, I don't know if it passed or not, but in the bill, they was going to give the police more money in the George Floyd Act. Like, this is, people sick, man. That's
what this interview is essentially about. He's asking that they're going to need more money.
That's all it's about. That's all it's about, because okay, we give them more money. They can't justify the crime rate. They can't justify the crimes not being solved. And they say, "Oh, it's you guys' fault. It's the public fault. It's the people not snitching on their neighbors. It's everybody but us. We're doing the best that we can." Nigga, if you actually did your job, it's not that hard. If you was actually in tune with the neighborhood, if you actually had a connection with the neighborhood, if the people trust you, not to, lock their people up in these systems that's going to use them for prison labor, then yeah, maybe you will have a better chance of being a police officer. The people will trust you, but you guys, we don't know you. You're a new face. Some of these police officers come here, first 2 years, locked up 20 niggas. And they think that we don't see that they have an agenda. You're not from here. How you know all these criminals? I don't even know all these damn criminals. But they make criminals. And this is why we are the most incarcerated, but damn near the least convicted on things, because they can't get nothing out of us but that prison labor. And then when we get a good enough lawyer, they like, all right, let this nigga out.
Bail reform is another thing they're upset about. I think he mentions it later, but let's listen to maybe 2 more minutes, because I'm waiting for the Jim. He hasn't said it yet. The one that's gonna get this, that's kind of set this this discussion a little bit more.
And I saw a lot of things, and I think there's been some work done on both the police and the community side, and some more understanding. And now I see things coming out of that valley, and things starting to get better, where relationships starting to build, discussions starting to have. And I guess to your point about COVID, I see a little bit of that, because in May of 2020, that was the one thing that happened, was we didn't have those interactions that normally we would. Hey, let's get 500 people in a community meeting, and let's hash some of this out. And there was none of that. So I would say, as we come out of this COVID and we're having those abilities to have those discussions, I do think that's helping us and helping policing as a profession as a whole.
People will be able to have the face-to-face.
Correct.
You mentioned, some police officers will say, gosh, is it even worth it anymore to do this? Everything I do is so scrutinized.
Yes.
What do you say to those officers when they bring that to you?
I mean, it's difficult. I mean, you think about living your life on a body camera and making calls and people reviewing all that and judging everything.
Living your life on a body camera. Bitch, Detroit is greenlit. Do y'all know what greenlit means? You know what the green light means? Your whole community is watched by the uppers, by Big Brother, literally. And they heard. In the video that you just put up a couple of minutes ago, they was talking about how they're going to put up license plate readers and et cetera, but now they can't take the heat. You can't walk with a body camera on you. You can't live your life under a body camera. Welcome to my life, motherfucker.
Why, if you're a person being paid by the taxpayer, why would you have a problem if the taxpayer say, I want to see what the fuck you're doing while I'm paying you? Amazon does it. Doesn't Amazon follow their employees and have a freaking GPS on them? Go ahead, Nick.
And one thing I was noticing, notice how this reporter, no critical questions, just going along with it. And people think we are not the most propagandized country. People think this is not state media. He's just going along with everything, no critical thought on anything that he says. Like
there's no hey, well,
how is this not disturbing to watch? Like this is disturbing. Like people will see media in Russia and trying to, oh my god, they got state media. No, this is the worst. This put anything to shame. Have you guys seen this 4 minutes with this guy, this bootlicker, just nodding along with everything he say, no critical questions at all. And people,
how about he says, well, do you think, how people look the police has anything to do with, 600 mass shootings, all these killings they've done? I'm talking about 600 mass shootings, not involving all police, but that's not what I'm talking about, but that's connected. But also all of these killings, these upticks, you're going to say, oh, well, it wasn't just George Floyd. It was Breonna Joy Taylor. It was Sandra, but it's all these other people. That's what this reporter should be doing.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Let's not leave out the other shooters, the mass shooters, because we are having a mass shooting problem because they feel like the police are on their side. And if I was in that mindset, I would too. When I see other mass shooters being taken to Burger King, when I see other mass shooters can shoot up a whole grocery store or a whole facility and get walked out that motherfucker alive by the same cops who will bust either one of you niggas' heads the fuck open if you was to ever question their authority. Right? Yeah. This is why we are having shooting problems. The police, they don't protect anything. If anything, the FBI and the police are making these problems worse.